start streaming.
Yep, you start streaming on OBS, and you're going to want to go to our YouTube account on YouTube. What did we cut from Party Like It's 1999? It's 4 weeks, you said?
Yeah.
I've got The Matrix, Fight Club, Bicentennial Man, AI, Office Space, and The Sixth Sense. What did we cut? I can't imagine what we would have cut off that hot list.
Are you saying
joking? I know it's...
we need to cut something?
No, I know. Well, it's are we doing multiples? Are all those still on there?
I was just gonna do. I don't remember why. For some reason, I had it in my head that we were just doing 4.
No, I think
one
that
each week.
I think we both agreed to cut Bicentennial Man and AI.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Ooh, Toy Story 2.
That was in 1999.
I'm pulling out 1999 in film right now.
Mm-hmm. If you see anything better than The Matrix, Fight Club, Office Space, and The Sixth Sense,
Highest grossing films: Star Wars Episode 1.
this time will come.
Sixth Sense, Toy Story 2, The Matrix, Disney's Tarzan, The Mummy, Notting Hill, The World Is Not Enough, American Beauty, and The Blair Witch Project.
Fuck all those stupid movies.
Yeah, right? Yeah, fuck all those movies.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna skim. Varsity Blues.
Nah.
Not Blast from the Past. My Favorite Martian, Jawbreaker, Office Space, 8mm, Cruel Intentions, Deep End of the Ocean. Man, I went to see that with my parents in the theaters. You ever seen that movie?
I've never heard of it.
As they were like gonna ditch me and go on a date, and then like the babysitter fell through, so they just took me. It's about this kid that gets kidnapped at like a mall or an airport or something.
Yeah.
And then like 10 years later, his parents find out that like he's just been like living with this other family that doesn't even live too far away. So they like, the kid like legally has to go back, and it's just this weird drama about like this kid's family and his fake family that he loves more and stuff.
Oh man,
fucking weird.
I've never even heard of this movie.
Probably not very good. Doug's first movie, Ed TV.
I was watching some Doug the other day.
You know, I bet Ed TV has some pretty prophetic stuff in it.
Jeez.
And Ellen DeGeneres, who's pretty dope. So.
Yeah, I like her.
Never Been Kissed. Life, that's a good movie. The Mummy.
Did you see any of the Comic-Con trailers? Trailers for films that debuted.
I did see. I saw the trailer for Godzilla.
Looked pretty good.
Looked pretty sick.
Yeah, Michael Dougherty.
Pretty excited for that one.
You know him from other places?
No.
He did Krampus.
I never saw Krampus.
He directed Krampus, and he directed Trick or Treat. Which?
Trick or Treat's great. Yeah.
Yeah. If I made a top 10 list of my favorite horror movies, Trick or Treat would probably be my number 1.
Ben. The Straight Story came out in 1999.
We already done it. There we go. The series has.
We're not getting back into the.
We've got The Straight Story. We'll bookend it. All right. It begins with The Straight Story. It ends with The Sixth Sense.
Austin Powers 2.
Fuck all of the Austin Powers
movies. Dude, what?
I hate them.
Why? So good.
I hate them.
They're so good.
I hate them. I hate Mike Myers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
South Park movie came out that year.
I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. I don't. Okay, listen. I don't hate Mike Myers.
Ooh, American Pie.
I've got some strong opinions today. It was a rough one at work. All right.
Today's a strong opinion day.
I'm letting off some steam.
Note to self: be kind to swans. Mystery Man, the Iron Giant. You know what's a low-key great movie?
What?
Tom's Crown Affair, 1999.
I've never seen it.
It's just like James Bond, but I mean it's Pierce Brosnan, so it's just like a James Bond movie, but like a little sexier.
Mm-hmm. Is it Catherine Zeta-Jones in that?
Probably. Detroit Rock City, classic film. Probably would hate it. I haven't seen it since I was in high school. But I do like rock and roll.
Are we live on YouTube right now?
No, thank God.
Are you sure?
Nope. Oh. Cool.
Are you sure? It still has our old Grand Buffet stuff on it.
Yeah, so apparently you don't have to...
You don't have to have...
Whoa, good to learn.
Oh, I can confirm that the sound is fine.
Yeah.
So...
Do I have to do anything? We should. You know what we should do? I don't know anything about streaming.
Okay.
Maybe we should just change that from Grand Buffet to like just the general Ben and Curt streaming channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool.
Ben and Curt live.
Brave man vapes a Carolina Reaper. YouTube.
How many vape channels do you watch?
It's recommended. None.
Oh, that's recommended on the Ben and Curt channel.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm on the.
Oh, you're on. I'm
yours. On my personal channel.
Your personal, the secret.
The secret channel. All right. Are we just gonna stream from right there?
Yeah, dude.
All right. So we're already in September, so I'm just gonna skim through here. Ooh, Double Jeopardy, classic.
Okay.
That's a great movie. You ever seen that one?
No.
It's about You ever gonna watch it?
No.
Okay. It's about a woman whose husband frames her for murder, and then she goes to jail and gets out due to like inconclusive evidence, and is told she learns in prison that she can't be charged for the same crime twice. So now she tries to go kill him for pinning a fake murder scheme on her.
That's stupid.
That's stupid.
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Also, hey, that's a separate.
Hey, Boys Don't Cry came out in 1999.
That's a good movie.
Oh,
Hilary Swank, right?
Yeah, I can't do that movie. I have a history with that film.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
My dad rented it once from the video store, and I was like sitting on the carpet playing with my toys while he was watching it, and it became pretty apparent that this was not a movie that I should be in the room for. And he was like, "Why don't you go play in your room while I watch this?" And I was like, "Okay." And I said to myself, so this was probably in 2000 because it was in
you were
the video
10 years
store.
Old, yeah.
And I had the thought, this sucks. When I'm a grown up, I'm gonna watch that movie. And then I watched it when I was 16, and I shouldn't have watched it. It was a little intense. I don't know what I thought it was, but it was just pretty intense for a 16-year-old to watch. My dad was right. It was good that I went and played with my toys. There was some shit going on in that movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, The Green Mile.
Very good.
Stuart Little. Shut the fuck up.
I don't think we're seeing anything.
No, I think we're good.
I think we've actually got the 4 best movies.
From
somehow. 1999.
I did skip the 13th Warrior.
Megan was just watching the 13th Warrior the other day. It's on Hulu right now.
She's partying like it's 1999.
Yeah, she's getting in there. The Matrix.
Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland, and Babar, King of the Elephants.
I like Babar. Weird ass French cartoons.
Oh, apparently there are just a bunch that aren't part of. That must have just been
the highest grossing, or
or something. Oh, 1999 wide release films. So there's 1 million that aren't even. Obviously, because we didn't mention Boondock Saints, so.
Nope.
No, we didn't. It's over.
Nope. I think we've mentioned Boondock Saints enough on this podcast.
I think we have to. Sorry what I said about Boondock Saints, everybody. It's not a good movie. Alright, I got a Chuck E. Cheese and the Galaxy 5000, and that's where I'm going to leave that. That also came out in 1999.
I was kind of liking that. I was kind of liking the road this was going down.
Do I need to leave YouTube up, or is it... it's fine.
Doesn't seem like it, yeah.
Right.
Do we want to change the title to Ben and Curt live streaming?
Oh, I'd have it.
Yeah, that's on your end.
That's on my end.
What is that? The Glowing Man. Did we determine what's going to fill that gap? Oh, we said Antichrist, right? Okay, I'll just put it up there for us.
I'll just make that decision.
Unilaterally.
I don't know, man. That movie.
You can do it.
It just, something about it.
What?
Really just I don't know. It's just this unsettling, not good. I don't want it. It's toasty in here.
Seems kind of like I wear the same shirt every Wednesday. Like this is my
This is your
my
podcast shirt?
Ben and Curt podcast shirt. I'll take it. I'll take credit for that one.
Hey, we have 5 subscribers.
Yeah.
Recommended. How to spot a fake Gibson in seconds.
That's fake.
That's fake Gibson.
I knew it in seconds.
Thank you, Kenneth Russell, for teaching me how to spot that fake. We want to go to Creator Studio, right?
Yes, I think. And then on the sidebar, there will be a little button that says live streaming.
Go live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Ooh, I didn't know you could go incognito on YouTube. That's handy.
What's on YouTube that you wouldn't want people to know here? How to make a great surprise for your wife. That's what that's for. Like me, I use incognito to, secretly shop for presents for my wife on Amazon.
I use incognito exclusively to ask embarrassing questions to Google that I don't want showing up in the Google search history.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube's asking us, be sure to allow access to your camera and microphone. They didn't do that before. What the fuck is going on?
May I?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see about this.
I just reloaded YouTube, so
Okay.
it doesn't say it anymore. I'm afraid to stream from YouTube because then what if the audio doubles again?
Oh, yeah. Okay, Creator Studio. You see that Glass trailer?
Nope.
Looks pretty good.
See the Aquaman trailer? I didn't even
Nope.
watch it yet.
Did you see the trailer for Titans?
Nope.
Have you heard about it?
They're doing Teen Titans? Is it different?
It's a live action Teen Titans.
I never got into Teen Titans.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's
It doesn't matter. It looks sick.
No, it doesn't matter. It looks terrible.
Oh, okay.
Looks like actually like one of the worst television shows ever to be produced.
Worse than the quality of the Power Rangers movie? The new Power
Well,
Rangers
that's
movie?
a tall order.
Remember when they were like, we're going to make 7 of these?
7 Brides for 7 Brothers. We got 7 Power Rangers movies. We got
That's
7
true.
Tremors movies,
That's
potentially.
a good point. I don't have my work phone on me, which is where I took the picture. But I was at GameStop the other day. You know how they sell toys and stuff now?
Yeah.
They were selling a 5-pack of Power Ranger keychains.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this bullshit. A 5-pack. It had the Black Ranger, the Green Ranger, the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, and then the White Ranger. It had no girl Rangers, and the Green Ranger and the White Ranger are the same fucking guy. That's fucked.
That's not good.
I almost started some shit on Instagram over it. GameStop, what do you have against Kimberly and Trini?
I'm just gonna leave the description. Ben and Curt try to eat the whole pate
Okay.
the same.
It's about the
Because
same.
I feel like that's pretty much the same all the time.
That's relevant. I am always trying to eat something. Oh, dude. I was plowing through some Oreos earlier and just hating myself every time I ate another one. I gotta rein that shit in. I'm such a fat. I hate it.
Oh man, yeah, me too.
You hear how fat I am? Oh.
I am also unhappy with my body, but hey, who isn't?
That's true. This is America. Everybody's unhappy with their body.
This is the land of Walmart.
Is it raining? It is raining.
Good.
Good.
We'll get some thunder
Open
and
up the
lightning.
skies.
So it's saying that video output low thing again. I don't know what to do about that. I changed the shit that I wanted to change.
We should, at some point...
We should sit down
We'll have a workshop.
And figure it out and, like, Google answers to all these questions.
Yeah.
But that is not
do we
right.
still want to stream today and just let it do its thing?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So close to being ready.
Yes. You want me to put it out on Facebook again?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
How are we doing on the Audacity front?
Check. Give me a check, man.
You want me to check?
Yeah.
All right. Check. Mic check.
That sounds good.
Let me put it out on Facebook again?
Yeah. Music test. Wait, it's doing that thing again.
What thing?
Where it's not playing the...
How did we fix that last time? Didn't you have to restart everything?
Yes. Dang it. That's the worst part, when you fix something, but you don't know how you fixed it because you were just stumbling through the dark.
Yeah.
Check. There it goes. Cool. So, whenever you are ready... Actually, I do need to look up one more thing real quick. I'm just not on my A game today, apparently.
It's all good. Still better than last week. We both dropped that last week.
I didn't listen to it.
Oh, no, I just mean that, like, it took us 45 minutes to set up the live stream.
Yeah. Cool. So I have the YouTube channel up, but like minimized.
Alright. Alright, it's going up on YouTube.
Final check. Benjamin?
Check, mic check. Is the music gonna work?
I think so. You ready?
Yep. Are we doing it?
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
That was real.
That was real? I didn't know that was real.
Sorry.
Yeah, they can see my confusion on the webcam this time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ben and Curt Till It Hurts, the Culture Cast caught at the crossroads of curation and castration. Castration, again, very relevant this week. I'm Ben.
And I'm Curt.
How are you doing, Curt?
I'm great.
I'm doing very well as well, and this week we were talking about Swans, not the animal,
Oh.
the band.
Wait.
Yeah, you've got like in-depth Swans knowledge now. You've done so much research about swans, the animal. They got long necks,
That's true.
white feathers,
Uh-huh.
mean temperament.
Yeah.
Yep.
They swing their head and neck around.
Mm-hmm.
They like to fight people.
Jeez, dude, boy, do they.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever wish a swan would attack you?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Terrified of them, man. Why would you wish that? I like swan boats.
Sometimes I'm confident, depending... I know that there are animals that like to start shit with people sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those animals, I feel more confident that I could defend myself from than others. And sometimes, like with a chicken, or, like a rooster, or like a swan, I find myself thinking, like, Start something. Fucking see what happens. Step up, Rooster. See if I don't kick you across this lawn. But they never have, so I've never had to kick a...
It's all purely theoretical.
Yeah, this is all like shower thoughts at a... Fantasize about beating up chickens.
Oh, man. The movie of your life is going to be...
Yeah. X-rated.
X-rated chicken is going to be it's going to be a 2-hour-long shower. Just where all your fantasies enact themselves, but you stay in the shower the whole time. I'm gonna my whole movie making career.
You're gonna direct that movie.
I'm gonna direct that movie. I'm the director of this podcast, as we've established, and I'm gonna direct that movie. Every movie of mine is gonna have an extended and uncomfortable shower scene in it.
Yeah.
This one is gonna be maybe my crowning achievement because it's gonna be one long shower scene.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about the chickens will come into the shower to fight you.
Yeah.
You're gonna kick them.
So my advice, and you're the director. I don't want to tell you how to do your job.
Okay.
Don't start your film career with this movie. You don't want to Kevin Smith your way.
I don't want to set that high expectation.
You don't want to have your first movie be your best film and then have everything else be compared to that.
Oh, I didn't know that Kevin Smith's first movie was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh.
That's surprising to hear. I didn't know that fun fact about Kevin Smith.
That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
You can say that. Also, another piece of advice, or just an idea rather than advice. Maybe in one of your films before this film, you could have a scene with me in the shower anyway, and then when you film my biography, it's the same day. Like that, it's a Quentin Tarantino thing. That's just part of, that.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, can I drop a movie fact on you for
sure.
a minute? So, I just got to give it to Quentin Tarantino again,
Me too, man.
in a new way that I'd never thought about before.
I've never given it to him before.
My only criticism I think that I've ever had of Pulp Fiction is that it seemed kind of like weirdly written, and I thought lazy, that like every major plot thing that happens like while John Travolta is like in the bathroom. Like he's like in the bathroom when what's her name snorts his heroin. He's in the bathroom when he gets shot by Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And he's in the bathroom when at the diner.
At the diner, right.
And I was like, that's just really weird, and maybe that means something, and I just I don't know, but it just seems kind of like lazy, like, oh yeah, then John Travolta goes to take a shit and then everything goes wrong. And I just learned, thanks to Reddit the other day, that heroin users suffer from constipation. Yep. Never even put that together. That's why John Travolta's always in the can in that movie. Tarantino.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Anyway. What have you been up to?
I'm going to say hi to listeners. I'm going to say hi to my mother.
Is she listening?
She's listening. She's in the mix. I'm going to say hi to Lisa, who's also in the mix. Fellow YouTuber, friend of the show. Lisa, watch her videos.
Man, I hate that I just talked about that now.
Yeah.
I forget that people listen to this.
No, nobody listens to this. Nobody listens to this.
Yeah, thanks for joining the live show.
Yeah, it's good
Lisa
to have you, folks.
Mrs. Ben.
Wait,
that's not right either.
No, that's not
Ben's mom.
Yeah.
So, what do we got? What have you been up to?
Oh man. Well, have you been watching or reading anything, man? Like, what's your media check-in? Give it to me straight. That's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, I've just been listening to a lot of Bloodhound Gang, and that's pretty much it.
You still doing the Misfits thing?
I've taken a break from the Misfits thing. I had to slow down a little bit on it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it's just been that the studio has been kind of a mess, so I haven't been spending any more time in here than necessary. So
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. My studio at home is kind of a mess as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been meaning to get in there and clean it. I meant to do it while listening to Swans this week, but didn't.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is watching Steven freaking Universe, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a Steven Universe guy?
Oh man.
I've never seen it.
It's the best.
Oh.
It's the absolute best. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
I'll check it out.
I'm pretty sure every episode up until the 2017 season is up there. I don't know how many more episodes aren't there yet, but it's the best. It's the best kids show ever made, man.
Really, best kids show.
One of the best cartoons ever made.
I'm partial to Adventure Time.
I like it much better than Adventure Time.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yep. Yep. I like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
But I think that Steven Universe is even more special.
Strong words, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Strong words from a strong man.
That's for the live stream.
That was for the live. That was You're not going to get that in the later show.
I'm going to address the chat real quick. All right, I did not misspell plate. The word is pate. All right, the word is pate.
I think we're gonna...
It's a French term that describes meat that has been blended up into a smooth and creamy consistency. Now, if you had watched La Grande Bouffe, as we had, then you would, of course, remember the scene where a man dies trying to eat an entire pate.
Are we going to have to take away your streaming privileges? You're going to get into it with everyone.
I'm going to get into everybody in the friggin' comments because they're talking shit about my spelling skills, all right? I read my shit, okay?
He knows what he's doing.
I know what I'm doing. And I know that what I'm doing this week is talking about Swans.
Yeah.
I'll take the intro on this one, okay? Because this is I brought this to the table. Now, Curt, before we get into this, I mentioned I had a hard day. It's true, I had a hard day. I know I'm missing an accent mark, all right? It's hard. That's a Unicode character. I'm not familiar with the coding aspect of... I'd have to hit Alt 8576 or something.
Yeah, well, I think on your phone you can just hold the letter and all the variations will pop up.
I can't write the stream description on my phone. Can you just change it? Curt, can you just change it for me?
I don't know how.
All right, get to the... we should be on YouTube on there.
We are.
All right, and just go on there and change it to, say, plate.
Is this really bothering you?
It's bothering someone in the stream.
Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to...
You going to freestyle it? Freehand it?
Yeah. No, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to change it to plate. I'm going to look up the symbol to change it to the appropriate mark.
All right, and while you're doing that, I'm going to introduce Swans.
Yeah, talk about Swans.
Swans is a band. They emerged from what was called apparently the no-wave scene back in the 80s, including bands like Sonic Youth and other bands whose names I don't know and that I've never listened to. And their thing early on was that they were very brutal and loud and in your face and violent. But over time, that became a constraint upon the creativity of the songwriter Michael Gira and of the musicians involved in Swans. So, after making a string of very well-regarded albums through the 80s and 90s, Swans disbanded in the mid-90s. Until... after, more than a decade of working on his solo work in a side project called Angels of Light, Michael Gira came back to the stage with a Swans reunion in 2010 with their album My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky. Then 2 years later, an album called The Seer. 2 years after that, an album called To Be Kind. And 2 years after that, an album called The Glowing Man. And... far from the expectation for what a reunion is supposed to be, which is like a cash-in, you go on a reunion tour so that you can make those bucks that you aren't making after your band broke up. Exactly, big old dollar signs in their eyes. Far from that expectation, the reunion of Swans is generally agreed by many critics to have surpassed and completed the work that Swans did earlier in their career. And I certainly find that to be the case. These 4 albums are some of my favorite albums of the past decade, and put together, I think they constitute a fascinating body of work.
Something that I found fascinating about the first album of these 4 albums was that this was like some low-key crowdfunding before crowdfunding. Like, he recorded acoustic versions of each of some of the songs that would appear on the album and self-released an album to help record, to help pay for a real Swans reunion. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I haven't listened to a lot of Swans either, but once I had read that he was in Swans and then Swans broke up and then he was in another band, and the music for My Father Will, is it Guide Me or Lead Me?
Guide Me.
My Father Will Guide Me was originally supposed to be an Angels of Light thing, but then it sounded more like Swans, and then he thought about doing a split release with Angels of Light and Swans, and then it became all Swans. I think on that album, I feel a little of that, like, I've never listened to much Swans or Angels of Light, but it felt like there was a lot of pretty clear, like, not, I don't know, the stuff that I liked about Swans is just the intensity and, like, the density of the sonic patterns, and I think that it felt a little softer than what I was expecting a Swans album to sound like.
On My Father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I read all that, I was like, maybe that's why I got that vibe of, like, because it is a Swans album, but it wasn't always 100% a Swans album, so I thought that was pretty interesting after I'd listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little tidbit for my introduction into Swans that I wanted to share. So I had never listened to Swans until a couple years ago when I started working at a record store, and a good friend of mine, he left like 2 weeks after I started, but I like him, so we became friends even though he like immediately left. And he used to put on Swans at like 8:45, and he said, "This will make people leave." And that was like his way of like getting people out so you could try to like close early. And I messaged him and I asked him, I said, "What is it that you like about Swans so much, if you know, because you really like them?" And he said, "They have a genuine ability through sheer volume and crushing rhythm to cause an emotional response in me, and it's never the same emotion: rage, unease, sadness, longing. Michael Gira is an amazing artist." So I was able to go into listening to this album with that, and I think that really helped me. I wish I'd had that last week, so listeners could have had the same thing, but that was a cool, I think, way to like prepare myself.
Cool intro.
For what I'd be getting into.
Yeah, the guide.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick. I know you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
Fan of the show. He doesn't listen to the show. I don't blame him. Yikes.
Yeah, so this week we listened to My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky and The Seer.
Yeah.
For my money, The Seer is my favorite of these 4 albums.
Okay.
I love them all, but The Seer is and it might be a personal history thing, it was the first one that I really, like, fell in love with right when it came out. Yeah. I kind of came to My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky a couple months before The Seer was released. And
I'm glad that you like The Seer better than My Father Will Guide Me, because I did too, and I didn't want it to like, I didn't want it to be like an angsty, like I don't know, how should I say this? Like My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky, I feel like is a like religious allegory.
I think they're both religious albums.
Okay, they very well could be, but so I didn't want to like. I was afraid going into it that if I said I liked The Seer more, it would be like, they're not necessarily you, but like anybody could just think like, he just fucking dismissed the first one because it's like a religious...
Oh, well, it's interesting because the title sounds religious.
Yeah.
But I think that it's much less of a religious album than The Seer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I see it all, right? That's the...
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know how much... Well, let's talk about My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky. Did anything other than the title lead you to thinking that it might have been a more religiously based album?
I don't think so.
I will preface this by saying that Michael Gira is kind of... he's a bit fidgety about talking about his religious views publicly.
Okay.
So, and he also doesn't seem to really do much, say, like deep interpretation or analysis of his own lyrics, which is good. He's like the David Lynch of music.
Yeah.
You know? It's like the work is there, just look, it's all there. Everything you need is there to interpret it. Seems to be Michael Gira's point of view, which is a respectable point of view. So there's no solid answer as to whether or not either one or both of these albums is or are religious in nature.
Yeah.
They definitely treat with religious themes. It's difficult to say exactly what their perspective is on it. But anyway, what led you on My Father to thinking it was religious?
Just that title, and then there was nothing else that steered me away from that. Overall I enjoyed The Seer more, but I think with me, I was not as much of a fan of like, say, like Reeling the Liars In. I like those long experimental, banging, loud. Those are the tracks that I like, the uncomfortably emotional tracks. And I think that when they go on to these songs where they actively like sing, at least, you know, for some of those songs, it was a little too, I don't know, a little too folky, kind of like, I don't know.
Well, there are a couple moments like that on the Seer as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
I actually should preface this episode. I should have prefaced this episode by saying, like, I feel almost more unprepared for this episode than, like, any other episode we've done, because I listened to both of these albums, and I feel like I could listen to each one, like, 6 more times and just still take things away from it. Like, they're so dense that it just... There's so much to offer, and I feel like even though I've listened to them, I think I listened to each one twice, I feel like I've barely begun to like peel back the layers of like what these albums are.
You don't need to have like a fully formed, articulated thesis about them, but I'm always interested to hear what you have to say about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I love reeling the liars in.
Do you?
The like imagery of that song, like people sitting around a campfire with a big stack of liars. Throwing them on the campfire and allowing them to burn to make the fire last longer. It's deep, dark stuff, man. It's really dark shit. It's nightmarish.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about nightmares.
You love nightmares.
I love them.
Hey, not to go off on a tangent, but later in the episode, I do have not a strict Dreamcast topic, but I do have something to bring up in the field of Darkcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We can do that later.
I haven't had any dreams other than work stress dreams.
Good. Perfect. Those are the best kinds of dreams. Don't you love going to work and being stressed out, and then dreaming about being stressed out at work all night, and then going right back to work and being stressed out?
Yeah.
It feels like you never leave your stressful
like you
place.
Never left. Yeah.
It's great.
And then you go home and you listen to Swans and it stresses you out.
You're just emotionally distressed.
Yeah. What do you think of the beginning of My Father? The very beginning of No Words, No Thoughts.
I liked that track.
Do you remember the opening?
I can't remember.
It's just the bells. It's just the ringing bells.
No, and I did like that because it kind of... I was listening to it with... the first time I listened to it with headphones, and the second time I listened to it on a huge fucking PA that I have in here from when I used to need a PA. So, both times, like, I could really hear the depth and, like, bouncing back and forth of, like, of those bells. And it really feels like this... It really sets the tone well for the album of feeling like you're kind of just, like, being pulled up a rope into heaven. Like, it feels very, like, comforting and settling.
Ooh, you felt comforted by that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I did not. I didn't feel comforted by that. No. Not one bit. I feel discomforted by it, I would even say. I do get what you're saying, though, is and this is one of the things that you see in reviews of Swans' work, is that they don't really tell a story with their music as much as they create a space for you. And I think that the bells at the beginning of No Words, No Thoughts are a profound mission statement of that. Because the space that they create is so three-dimensional and so real for you if you're really sitting there and listening to it.
Yeah.
That it bowls me over every time I listen to it. And then you get into the, like, guitar, like... I've seen a lot of people talking about Swans as progenitors of sludge metal.
Yeah.
Because they did a lot of similar things back in the day as well. And they kind of led the way through that.
I'm excited to get into more of their discography. I'm very excited because of the way you've framed these 4 albums to listen to these, but I'm also very intrigued to, like, go back and listen to, you know, the early stuff too.
Yeah.
Stuff like with bands that have, like, they have the one original main guy, but I'm always intrigued by bands that, like, start with all different members or break up and get back together. You know, bands like Napalm Death and stuff. It's very interesting to go back and just be like, what were they going for? And then you wonder, like, what does, you know, Swans or Napalm Death in 2010, what do they what do they even think about the first Swans album, or you know, their new members even listen to it, or I don't know. I just think that stuff's interesting.
In particular, it seems like Michael Gira has a very lucid and thoughtful approach to his old music. He praises it when he thinks it deserves praise, and he criticizes it when he thinks it deserves criticism. So it's cool to hear him talk about his older stuff. It's also cool to hear him talk about his newer stuff. For instance, I read a quote from him about No Words, No Thoughts, where he thinks that the intro, the like bell intro, he thinks they wussed out and it should have been 10 minutes long.
Sometimes
I loved that, because I wish that had been 10 minutes long too.
You know, I don't know why they didn't, because I mean, clearly they're not afraid to like have long songs.
Well, but this was the first one after the
this
was the first one after
true.
the
there are no 28-minute
yeah, no, I don't
one.
think any of these tracks break 10 minutes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's the
No Words, No Thoughts
longest.
is the longest at almost 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas on the Seer, you know, like half the songs it feels like are 20 minutes long.
Yeah, you know what? I got trolled by the Seer because I was listening to it on Spotify. Shout out Spotify Premium.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was on the last track, but I realized I had just not scrolled down to the very last two tracks. And the last two tracks total like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're each 20 plus minutes.
Oh, it was so crushing when you've already like sat through this like long experience of a Swans album.
And A Piece of the Sky would be a great ending to that album.
Yeah,
I think. I love that song.
I really thought it was a great ending, and then it played the next song, and I was like, did it just jump to a new album? And then I looked, and I was like, oh, there's just more to it. No, that would be a great last song. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite songs off these two albums, period. Yeah. That is, I'm going to make sure. Nope, sorry. I fucked that up. A Piece of the Sky is the 20-minute long second to last song.
Oh, okay. What was the one before that?
Avatar.
Yeah.
Is the one before that. That would be a pretty good ending too, but I mostly like that as an intro to Piece of the Sky. Anyway, we're not talking about that freaking album yet. We're not talking about this sermon by Jonathan Edwards either. Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, which is something else that I've been reading. What else you got to say? What else you think about My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky? First impressions. What were your first impressions? Did you find yourself repelled, drawn in?
I found myself a little bit repelled because, well, it's hard. I was repelled in the sense that I had listened to, I don't know what album I listened to when I listened to it at the record store with Nick, and I had listened to Be Kind, and I think that those experiences I had previously were a lot more of the dissonant, like...
To Be Kind is a harder album than either of these, I think.
And I enjoyed... the little bit that I'd listened to, I kind of enjoyed that, and I was intrigued by it. So I think when they started out... Like, learning that they started out with this album during this iteration of Swans, I don't know if I would say it felt like they were holding back, but it kind of just, like... It feels like it isn't really there yet. And then when I listened to the Seer... I was kind of like, that's where I think the direction, it was a little edgier, a little more dense. I was really, and like I said, I feel like I should listen to it more. Like I really need to unpack it more. But I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the clean singing parts of it. It just wasn't what I was looking forward to about it, and I didn't really anticipate it being there as much. So
well, yeah, it closes with Little Mouth.
Yeah.
Which is basically a straightforward, like, country song.
Yeah.
I love that song. But it sounds like there was a little less, it was a little underwhelming for you.
A little bit.
That it wasn't exactly up to expectations for what you thought a Swans album would deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Not to say that I didn't like it. But...
yeah, whatever. If you didn't like it, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'm just glad. I'm glad.
I realize that I prefaced this by saying I had a hard day, so you better not come down hard on Swans or I will crush you. But don't take me seriously when I say
no.
That.
But I am...
Take a strong position. Take a stand, Curtis.
I am glad.
This album was bullshit.
No, I liked it. But I am glad that you liked the Seer more. Because I really...
No, maybe I like this one better. I don't know.
Well, that's fine, but I will still... I mean, it's pretty good. No. I did like the Seer more. And
I wonder if for me it had to do with the fact that when I listened to this album, I had no expectations about what a Swans album would deliver. I had never listened to a Swans album before when I listened to this one. So from that perspective, like having no expectation set about how extreme a Swans album would be, or even that it would be a part of the extreme metal genre or extreme music genre, listening to this and hearing the bells at the beginning was like that felt very extreme, and that felt like they were really like pushing limits.
Yeah, I mean, and that, that's a very good point too. Frequently the first of something, whether it's the first whatever Rambo movie, anything, the first thing in a quote unquote franchise can frequently feel tame when you go back and look at it, once they build upon it and keep pushing that idea.
And I don't even know if, I wouldn't say that it's even that tame of an album. It's tame in terms of, if you look at it strictly in terms of the numbers, in terms of the quantifiable, Yeah, the sounds are not as loud. The songs are not as long. But a song like Jim is incredibly intense, just with the it feels like you're dipping into a well over and over again. You're going deeper and deeper, and the water is changing every time you bring some more up. That's the sense that I get from Jim. Like the level of intensity, the very simple minimalist composition that it starts out as, and then the depth of intensity that it gets to by the end, like it makes me feel physically ill. And then there's a song called "You Fucking People Make Me Sick." So it's one of those clean singing songs, but it is also like just a desolate piece of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Let's move on to the Seer.
Sure.
All right. What did you think of the Seer?
I really liked the Seer. I'm trying to specifically. I really liked 93 Avenue Blues.
Yeah, the crazy free jazz.
Yeah, I was super into that.
Yeah,
that was just
nice.
I was feeling it. And then Avatar, like I said, I really liked a lot. And just even overall, in general, I think it, as you put it, quantifiable. It did have those quantifiable, dense, intense moments that I was anticipating and looking forward to. So I think I just kind of enjoyed that one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that the Seer is an absolute masterpiece. I like Disc 1 probably more than I like Disc 2. I think that the shape of Disc 1 is, what does it even matter which one I like more? The whole thing is a masterpiece altogether. But I know that Disc 1 is the one that I look forward to, the one that I think more often about.
Yeah.
Because the movement through the wolf, right? Like Lunacy and Mother of the World are like a great introduction into the world and tone of the Seer. The wolf is this minute-and-a-half long, eerie, pull me through the power lines, and it gets this tape noise, or the sound of a running, I don't know what the sound, it always makes me think of the sound of a running tape deck.
Yeah.
Partway through the song it cuts in. And that's your intro into the 30-minute, opus of the Seer, which goes through all these crazy movements. It builds and builds and builds, and then climaxes, and then settles into a lengthy, seriously 7 or 8 minute harmonica solo, and then just breaks into a conventional kind of bluesy rock song. That song blew me away when I first heard it. This album was a profound spiritual experience for me when I was listening to it.
I can definitely respect that. Whoa, kicked your leg.
You good?
Do you ever find, because where you're already a fan of this album, do you ever find that you go to listen to it, and then when you get through the first disc, you're like, I'm good. I don't need to finish this journey. I'm just only asking because if you like, I know you said it's a masterpiece, but you've also said you like the first disc more. So I was just wondering if it do you usually view it as like one whole movement, or do you ever just like pick songs out of it and listen to it? Like,
I find that when I start, okay, here's what I'll say. When I start listening to it, I think I'm just going to listen to the first disc, but by the end of the first disc, I feel like I need the second disc to pull me the rest of the way through.
Yeah, that's fair.
I fully intend to just listen to that. It's probably like an hour-long movement. It's 64 minutes on the first disc. But by the time I reach the end of The Daughter Brings the Water, I'm left at like such an emotional open place that I need to go through Song for a Warrior and Avatar and A Piece of the Sky, especially A Piece of the Sky.
Yeah, I also didn't realize that this album was fucking 2 hours long when I
warned you, man.
I forgot. Apparently.
I tried to warn you. Both of the next ones are 2 hours long, so we're looking at 4 hours total of music for the next Swans episode.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy this album, and enough to I think it's getting me into Swans, which is always like my preferred outcome of a podcast. It's not like, it's always cool to watch something or listen to something you've never seen before, but when it sets you on that journey of like, okay, so now I should probably listen to their old stuff even though we're not talking about it on the podcast, and also maybe I should buy some of these on vinyl or whatever. So
I've got some pretty good Swans vinyl. I have the Glowing Man on vinyl, so I'll be spinning that one for the next podcast. I should just get all 4 of these albums on vinyl.
Yeah,
I have their album White Light, White Heat on vinyl. That's a really good one. That's one of their old ones. And anyway, just to talk about what you were talking about, which is like dipping into the Swans back catalog. Based on your interest in the Seer, I would say go for their album Soundtracks for the Blind, or Soundtrack for the Blind. I can't remember. I get it mixed up with the Queens of the Stone Age by a similar name. We got Soundtrack for the Blind, we got a Soundtrack for the Deaf, we got it all. That album is another like 2 hour long kind of industrial found sounds music blowing up into these big crescendos. So you might be interested in that one. The entirety of the Swans back catalog represents a constantly changing point of perfection. So your mileage may vary in terms of which albums you like most from their back catalog, and there's a lot of music there for them. They put out a ton of albums over the time that they were a band. But yeah, I'm glad you liked the Seer. Yeah,
me too. I think just me being the type of person I am anyway, like I hate greatest hits albums, and there are very few times I like to listen to albums. I don't usually ever like make a playlist very often. And I think it would sound like hell for me if I were to just like listen to a Swans song. Like, I feel like outside of the context of a whole album, like it might not even sound like music. Like it just sounds like it's so intense that's why I was wondering, that's kind of where that came from. Of do you always listen to the whole thing, or do you have your favorite parts of it?
I did play Song for a Warrior for my wife, and she really liked it. Cool. I remember doing that, and like she has warmed up to Swans quite a bit since I will not stop playing these albums.
Yeah.
But even years ago, back when I played Song for a Warrior, she would not have liked the rest of these songs very much, I don't think. But that one really captured her. So that's the double soul of Swans. That's what comes together to make it what it is that the intense experimentalism of the longer works coalesce into these songs that show well-constructed foundations. They're fundamentally great songs. You can play them for anybody, and they will say, yes, that is a great song. And then the song after it is a 10-minute song that ends up with this really extreme riff. And then the song after that is a 10-minute ambient song that then goes into like a really depressing, moody, whatever you'd call it, kind of a dirge. And then ends with this really uplifting moment. Yeah, Swans is an enigma, man. You can't box them in. Speaking of which, there's something so perverse about the idea of a Swans greatest hits album that I just loved that you... I know you didn't intend that to be the idea, but the fact that you implanted that idea in my head, I really appreciate that.
Do they have a greatest hits album?
I don't think so. They have a couple live albums.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things about Swans is that a lot of their music is improvisational in nature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they come up with like the skeleton of a song, but the particular recording of a song that you hear is just the version of that song that they have come to by riffing on it for hours, for like 12-hour long recording sessions.
That's almost kind of like a Tom Waits thing,
like
where
Tom Waits, or like it's just jazz. Man.
Listen to a live album and you're like, that song sounds nothing like it did on the album. And he's like, well, we've been playing it with different musicians for 30 years. It's changed.
And with Swans, even when if you see them, I've never seen Swans live, and I may never see Swans live. Who knows if they're going to come back for real again? But you hear the lament in my voice on that one. But my understanding is that even if you see them right after the album comes out, the song will have changed. You know, like a 30-minute song will suddenly be a 50-minute song that has all these other movements and moments in it.
And then you hate that you can't hear that, like, in a studio. That's how I would feel.
Really?
Well, maybe.
Well, you're a collector, right? You like to collect and have things. I feel like I would try to appreciate it for the moment that it existed in, because that's the magic that you get when you're going to a Swans show, is you want to experience this moment that all these musicians are working together to bring into being. It's an act of summoning. It's a ritualistic act. And
my experience with playing music too, I'm not like a super strong musician, so my experience whenever I've been playing live music is to just try to like replicate what was on the record. So for me, the idea of being in this, like, it's like it almost frightens me to like have this idea of like nobody of these 5 or however many people know what's going to happen.
I think there are way more than 5 Swans, man.
Oh, I don't.
I think it's like a 12-person live show. There are at least 2 percussionists, like 3 guitarists.
So it frightens me to think, like, to just have that ability to say, we don't even know what's going to happen, but we know that it will be worth you coming to watch us do it. Like, that frightens me, because I'm just not on that level.
And, you know, paradoxically, I think the only way you can get to that level is to be very comfortable with failing in public over and over and over again.
Whew,
and that's awful. A scary idea, right?
Yeah, I don't
that's
like
a scary idea, but I wonder why that's so scary.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going to happen, you know? What's bad about that?
Yeah.
Who cares? No one's going to remember. No one's going to remember it as much as you will.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
They'll think like, oh, that sounded... At worst, they'll think like, yeah, that sounded dumb.
Swan sucks live.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a blog post, couple of fucking Twitter hates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the pain of seeing a band you like a lot multiple times and having them suck each time. And you're like, oh... Apparently,
what band is that? What band is that for you?
Heavy Low. They were this like super shitty band that was around when I was in high school, and they just like suck live. And I was so excited to see them, and I was like, man, that was not great. Yeah. And then I saw them again, and I was like, that was just as bad.
You guys still haven't improved?
But there are a few bands that just... whatever, you know, a live experience is very different from a studio experience, and sometimes it's worse.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm really glad that we did this, because Swans has always been one of those bands that's just like, I like music a lot, and I'm friends with a lot of people that like music a lot, so they've always just been on that, like, you know, in my peripheral vision musically. But I don't think, without being, like, prompted, I would have ever, like, plunged into listening to it. And I'm glad that it happened like this too, because if I had just been like in my friend's car as he was listening to a Swan song, I don't think it would have had the impact of like, well, I better sit down with my headphones on and just listen to this whole album. So yeah.
You got anything else to say about Swans?
No.
I think I've exercised myself of all my Swans love. They're a wonderful band, man.
Yeah,
and I loved. I want to, if we're gonna start wrapping up the Swans discussion and heading towards a dark cast, I want to read this thing that I saw the other day.
Okay. I do have one more thing.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
But no, but you can go.
No, I gotta look it up anyway. Keep going.
So I think one of the biggest things that I took away from Swans, and I think my friend's little summary of what he enjoys about their music helped me too, is that it's so strange to me. I like a lot of music, and it's strange to me when people only like metal. You know, if you like extreme metal like me, you meet a lot of people that only like extreme metal. And I just think you do yourself such a disservice when you only like one type, you know, or not many types of music, because listening to this, it did cause like an emotion that like I've never experienced listening to music before. And it's just crazy to me that you wouldn't want to like chase that. Like, you can experience so many different things by listening to experimental or just different genres of music, that I'm really glad that I did, because it was just like that was definitely an experience. And I've listened to a lot of music, so to still have those like new experiences is like pretty fucking cool. Like,
I hope you keep listening to this album.
Me too.
And Swans in general, but particularly the Seer.
Yeah.
Live with it for a while, you know? Like, let it enter you. Become the Seer. Become one with the Seer.
Embrace the Seer.
See it all.
You find your thing?
I did. This is from a note from Michael Gira on the Young God Records about the Seer. He says a lot of stuff about the Seer first. He says it took 30 years to make. It's the culmination of every previous Swans album, so on and so forth. Talks about how they were developed, but he finishes his note by saying, despite what you might have heard or presumed, my quest is to spread light and joy through the world. My friends in Swans are all stellar men. Without them, I'm a kitten, an infant. Our goal is the same. Ecstasy.
Yeah.
It may be a little different from what I think people might presume, as he alludes, what people might presume about him based on his music.
Yeah.
Similar, again, to David Lynch, you know? A person will watch a David Lynch movie and think like, wow, that guy's fucked up. That guy's fucking crazy. What must that guy be like? Fucking tattoos and fucking piercings everywhere, and he's just evil. He's pure evil.
He's actually a really soft-spoken goofball.
He's actually a really nice guy. He's super funny. He has a really dry sense of humor. And, yeah, there's something about that. It's a little heartening, you know?
Yeah.
It makes you feel like there's hope in the world yet.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, and that's another thing that makes me think that, you read people's impressions. There's a great Reddit thread that I read when I was searching for stuff about Swans, the Seer. I came across this Reddit thread on the Swans subreddit where this person posted, "Can someone explain the Seer to me?" in his post, he said, like, "I want to enjoy it, but I don't think I can enjoy it until I understand it." Just like, boom, you got that backwards.
Yeah.
You know? But people were posting all their different interpretations. There were people who thought that the Seer like had a story, and that the wolf and the Seer and the warrior were like all characters in the story, which is just about the dweebiest thing I can imagine. But there was someone else, many other people who kind of posted more abstract and general impressions about what the album meant. And they all seem to have brought their own religious or spiritual baggage to bear in describing how the album impacted them. You know, like, I think it's about how you don't have to have, like, a specific religious identity, but you just have to, like, find meaning in yourself and the people around you.
Coincidentally, those are also my feelings. I noticed that when I was listening to this album, it reaffirmed something I already believed. So
yeah, right. Whereas, like, that thing about, I don't know. I think that Michael Gira has more specific religious beliefs than people might give him credit for.
Yeah.
They're just not the same as many other people's. And I think that he expresses them very well and in a very pure way that causes people to think, like, he gets it. Whatever they think themselves, they're like, he gets it, man. Like, that's exactly what I think. Yeah, I love this album. I love it. I just love it.
Good.
I'm glad we talked about it. I'm glad you liked it.
Me too. I hate when I have to watch or listen to things I don't like. It doesn't happen very often because we both like good shit.
That's true. All right, let's rate these albums. Are we ready
boy.
to rate these albums?
We're rating them.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay, and we have a new criteria for the tight shit list. I don't think that was on the stream or on the cast, but are you okay?
Yeah, are we gonna debut
Are you
it?
okay with me jumping in, debuting that as an official category?
Sure.
All right. The new way that things will get admitted to the tight shit list is that I will rate them on my 4-star scale, and Curt will rate them on his 5-star scale. And if they have 9 stars or above, they get on the tight shit list. They have to have received both of our best possible ratings to get on the tight shit list. And I'm trying to drag this out a little bit to give you time to think about what you're going to rate these albums.
You don't have to.
You know?
I got it.
All right. For me, My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky is a solid 3.5. And the Seer is a 4-star album. Curtis?
I would give My Father Will Guide Me probably a 6. Wait, no, we're doing 5. I have 10 in my head. That's
You can do 10, whatever. It's your scale.
Yeah, then I'll do 6 out of 10. And I think My Father Will Guide Me, or the Seer, 7.5, I think. Yeah. It's good. But I need
We can't relitigate the Swans episode.
I need it to grow on me. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I
hear you.
I
appreciate your honesty.
It's like reading half of a book almost, or like watching a movie,
which we've also done for this podcast.
Yeah, it would be like, I don't know why I thought of this example, but it would be like if I watched the first Harry Potter movie, and then I was like, that book sucks. Like, that's how I feel like I experienced the Swan. I'm not going to read the book. Fuck, that book's clearly shitty.
I've been living with this album for 5 years plus.
Yeah,
so
I really think it
would
settle in and grow
Mm-hmm.
if I give it more time, which I plan on doing.
Yeah.
So 1 year from now,
ask
me,
right
every
after
episode,
we actually redo the Mulholland Drive episode.
That's what we should do. Every week we'll rate what we talk about, and then we'll rate what we talked about a year previous.
Prior. Ooh, that's crazy. That's a crazy ass idea, Curtis. I love it.
Let's see how it's.
I love your crazy new idea.
I wonder what we talked about a year ago.
What was a year ago?
Let's go to Buzzsprout real quick.
All right.
That's where I get all of our info.
Just gonna check the chat. My beautiful spouse is at home.
Oh, good. Is anybody still here?
I don't know if anyone's still listening, man. Let's see.
None
of them are still listening.
I've had a couple listeners tell me that they don't. No one said they hate it, but I've had a couple listeners tell me they're a little cold on the music episodes.
Yeah.
I think we need to.
Curtis, what if we're a movie podcast?
We might just be a movie podcast.
What
honestly.
if we're a movie podcast?
We.
How would that feel for us?
Oh, dude, this is a fucking tight.
This is primo.
This is a tight week.
Let me try to guess. It wasn't the Lil Wayne episode, was it?
No.
Okay.
July 31st, 2017. Planet of the Apes reboot prequel trilogy.
Whoa.
Still 10 out of 10.
The reboot prequel, every single one of them.
Yeah, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them, individually and collectively, you're given a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Each of those movies, you're saying. Let me just get this straight.
Let me just make something.
Let me just make sure. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 10 out of 10. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, 10 out of 10. War for the Planet of the Apes, 10 out of 10. Are you standing by this?
No, I'm not standing by
Of course not. Of course you're not. Because fucking Rise of the Planet of the Apes is an 8 at best, even on your scale.
Rise is probably maybe my favorite one.
Yeah.
I love Rise.
Okay.
Dawn is a little... I love how Planet of the Apes-y it feels, but I think it's a little drier and more drawn out than the other two.
Okay.
But, I mean, they're 3 incredible films, so saying that one's like my least favorite...
Give me individual number ratings for each of them.
Oh my god, okay.
You came up with this crazy-ass new segment, Curtis, and I love it.
Okay, so this... Alright. We're working our way through this. Don't hold me here. Number 1 gets a 9. Number 2, I'm going to give an 8. And number 3, I'm going to give a 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, as a trilogy, it's perfect. 10 out of 10.
Well, they're on the tight shit list, so
yeah,
that's going to be a problem for us if we rate anything less than perfect.
No, I think as a piece,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Okay.
Like, there might be, a small, like, waning part of, but overall, perfection. I have no qualms calling those movies tight shit.
I'm going to say Rise is a 3.
Out of 4?
Out of 4. I'm going to say Dawn is a 4. I'm going to say War is a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 apes. You get 4 out of 4 apes.
You get 4 apes. It's 1 gorilla, 1 chimp, 1 orangutan.
Man, that was good.
And 1 other one. That was good. I love this new segment.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. This is going to be good. Because we'll get to relive the...
Yeah.
That's just
I'm not going to look ahead to see what I'm rating.
It's going to give us... I was going to say, it's going to give us more homework because we're going to have to, like, re-listen or watch.
I'm going to give you my direct impression.
Yeah, how'd it sink... That's smart. How'd it sink in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's next? So we rated them.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have left to do today?
The Seer's not on the tight shit list, and I'm going to have to deal with that.
Did
we want to do a dark cast?
Yeah. So today's dark cast... Yeah, we can.
Today's dark cast is brought to you by NordVPN.
Okay.
I wonder how Darkcast looks on the stream.
Probably pretty dark. So...
This isn't our first stream Darkcast. I know that.
No.
We did one with TH Paul.
With old our good friend. So, I totally know that I run the risk of sounding like a Tool when I tell you this, Ben.
Tool's a good band. Can't wait to do our Tool episode.
I've never listened to a single Tool song.
Really?
Isn't that fucking weird?
That is kind of weird.
I'm
going to be very interested
That's
to see
almost
what you
on the
think of
same
Tool.
level as, like, not having seen Jaws until, like, a year ago.
Yeah.
So...
Which is my deal as well.
You never seen Jaws?
No, I saw Jaws while we were in the hospital with with the whole baby thing.
So, I have a story for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had any dreams since our last dark cast, but I did have an experience that I've considered not telling because I don't want to sound however it might make me sound. So, as most of you listeners know, and you, Ben, I have an irrational fear and, like, strange obsession with extraterrestrials.
There's nothing irrational about that, Curtis. They're demons. It's very important to understand and know how to avoid and contend with them.
My wife has the same feelings towards ghosts.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to talk about ghosts, are we? Because I'm going to see someone standing in that corner. I can feel it already.
We're getting a little weird tonight, Ben.
I'm getting shivers, okay?
Okay, hear me out. And believe me when I tell you, I almost didn't want to tell this story because I don't want to sound...
I want to barf already.
Okay, hear me out. So, anytime I have, Laura had my wife Laura, had her dream about, waking up and then I was gone and then she woke up and she was gone and she woke up and there were lights in the room and I was like, holy shit, we got abducted by aliens. That's clearly the only thing that happened. Anytime anything happens in this house that we find unexplainable, Laura is just right ghosts. It was
She's
a ghost.
0 to ghosts in 0.5 seconds.
And so she has those feelings about ghosts. I do with aliens. And the beauty of this dynamic is that we each think the other one is like a stupid fear. So it really makes for all these crazy, conversations. So if you were to picture my bedroom...
She knows she could be having ghost dreams, right? I'm sorry, I don't want to...
So hear me out, buddy.
All right.
So if you were to envision yourself in my bedroom... For listeners or the people who don't watch my other webcam show, no, I'm just kidding. My room.
Check out the Amazon wish list. All right.
Yeah, you know it.
Tip him.
Give me that
him with
switch,
tips.
baby.
Yep.
My bedroom is a square because it is a room. So when you walk into it, you are looking at the foot of my bed. To the right of my bed is a walk-in closet. To the left of my bed is a bathroom. And the other day, I woke up, it was like a weekend morning, and I woke up, and Laura was like, the scariest thing happened to me last night. I woke up. Are you freaking out, Ben?
Yes. I'm having a fucking panic attack right now. I'm just imagining where this story's gonna go.
This is real, dude. She tells me the scariest thing happened last night. I woke up and I turned over and I looked in our closet.
Stop.
No,
Stop.
Dude. I have to tell this
now.
story. Okay.
This is too dark for Darkcast.
I have to tell you this story. And she said, I saw 3 glowing balls floating in our closet. And I said, and I was like, what was it? And she was like, well, obviously it was ghosts. And I was like, shut the fuck up. It wasn't ghosts.
Oh, no.
And she was like, no, seriously. I was like, Laura, stuff like that happens. It was probably a reflection of a light off.
It was probably an electrical storm. It was a weather balloon.
Yeah, off of our cell phone or a laptop plugged in. It was probably just some light shining into the closet and just reflecting off of something, and it looked, like 3 little balls or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm telling you, they were balls of light in our closet, and I don't know what they were, and it really, it was really scary. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so, flash forward a couple days later. I don't remember what day it was, but it was since the last podcast. I woke up in the middle of the night. I checked my phone, and I was like, you ever just wake up and you're just not tired for whatever reason, I woke up, so I checked my phone. It was 2 a.m. So I just went to lay on my back to play on my phone for a little bit. Sometimes I'll pull the blanket up over my head like a tent so it doesn't wake Laura up. And
Harry Potter.
I looked on the other side of our room towards the bathroom, not the closet, and I, sure as shit, saw a golf ball sized ball of light just in our bathroom.
Yeah.
Just hovering in our bathroom. Not really moving.
All right.
Just hovering. So I said, holy shit, that's one of those, that's what she was talking about. That is fucking freaky.
You said it out loud like that?
No, I was just like, holy shit. And so I was like, okay, so I'm like, what's it reflecting off of? Thinking, I'm a super smart guy, my crazy wife is, all wound up about ghosts, what could it be? And I swear to you that light did not go away. I didn't get up to fucking check it out because I was like, and I could not see or think of a single thing in my room.
Was it just sitting still?
Yeah, it was just a golf ball sized ball of white light, just kind of hovering, shimmering,
huh?
just floating in that bathroom. I thought to myself, maybe it's some light catching off the metallic handle of our little closet door we have in there. Mm-hmm. But it didn't add up. It was just a perfect ball, and it just of shimmering, I keep saying shimmering, but it was just a ball of white light.
Did it seem to shine rays onto the surroundings or anything?
Oh, just a white circle hovering.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking terrifying.
I hate that you told me this.
I'm sorry, and it was in this very house. I have to go back to sleep in there tonight.
Yeah.
And I honestly was like, I should tell Ben about this. And I was like, well, it wasn't a dream. Because I was up for an hour. I was like, holy shit, fuck that. And then I just ignored it and played on my phone. So I was very much awake.
Did you keep looking up and the ball kept getting closer or something?
No, it was just still there.
You kept checking on it?
I checked once or twice and it was still there, and then I just I weirdly didn't feel I feel if I were scared enough, I would have checked it out. But I was just that's fucking creepy. I don't want to know what that deal is. So I just ignored it.
Did you think to wake Laura up at all?
No. That would have fucking ruined her life.
So have you told her that you saw one?
Yeah, and she was just like, I fucking told you. And I was like, yeah, you did. You did fucking tell me.
Yeah. It's probably aliens.
Yeah, I mean...
They're probably checking your house out.
It might be. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know that I believe in ghosts, but I have had a few instances of like paranormal things, but I don't think I really believe in ghosts, so I've never known what to attribute it to.
Yeah.
So that was it. I wanted you to know about that, Ben.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm honored.
Should we go back to Lightcast?
Yeah, probably.
Go ahead and do the shade first.
Oh shit! I'm knocking your shit over.
Oh,
the Joker.
Yep.
Little wooden Joker.
Joker goes flying.
Yeah.
That's a Loot Crate box of bullshit Joker right there. Well,
do you still get loot crates or?
fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck Loot Crate.
No, I'm a homeowner.
Fuck subscription boxes.
Yeah, thank you.
Hard.
Yeah, get out of here, subscription boxes.
Yeah. I buy records. I spend my money on lots of other things. Yeah.
Well, you ruined my day.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I bought, last weekend I went record shopping and I bought Danny Brown's Triple X album on vinyl.
On vinyl, nice.
It was tight.
Yeah.
Not really an album you need to own on vinyl, but
Okay.
it was still tight.
Yeah.
I was listening to it drinking coffee on Sunday morning, and Laura came down and she was like, "You need to get this out of your system now, because if we have kids, you are not allowed to listen to this until they move away." And I was like,
Yeah,
I
Megan
can see that.
Megan and I have that moment about rap music sometimes too. It's like, this is just not going to be appropriate.
What is it with wives, dude? They're so responsible.
Megan and I agree about the
Oh.
shit that we listen to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm right there
So
on
you're
it.
responsible as well.
Maybe it's because my kid is not a hypothetical kid. She's
Yeah,
like a
that's
real
true.
actual baby that
Yeah.
like will listen to a song and she'll be like
Be
sitting
affected by
there
it.
bopping along with us, and we're like, you like seeing you smile about these lyrics is kind of disturbing.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. That's fair. Well, it's about that time, Ben.
Yeah.
We're at just over an hour, so
All right, that's a good time.
yeah,
That's a good time.
let's shut this thing
Oh
down.
man.
Next week, we're starting a new series. A series I'm very, very excited about. What is it?
Party
Yeah.
like it's 1999. This
Yeah.
one's been in the works for a little bit.
This started as a joke that
Yep.
turned into a pretty fucking good idea.
Well, I think it started as us wanting to do The Matrix.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, we should do Fight Club too. Hey, what's up with both of those movies? They both came out in 1999.
Yeah.
What other great movies came out in 1999? Office Space and The Sixth Sense, it turns out.
Yeah.
Both came out in 1999 as well.
So, what are we doing first?
We didn't actually decide. You know, The Matrix is the first one listed on this list,
Is it?
and I'd be okay with starting with The Matrix.
We can start with The Matrix. I was thinking Office Space came out first. But
Office Space is another good option to start.
But I
with.
don't care. We can let's do The Matrix.
No, let's do Office Space.
Are you sure? That's where it started, was with The Matrix.
That's
The
true. That is where
idea.
it started with The Matrix. I think going from the Seer into the Matrix might be a little too dour. So here's where I think here's how I think if we want to develop from the simplest, because I do think that all of these movies are expressing the same idea, and I think that it makes sense to group them together. But I think that they express it in with variable articulateness. I think they articulate it differently. And I think that The Matrix is the most complex and complete articulation of the idea. So I think if we preface The Matrix with the other three movies, then we will end up at the most complete discussion of The Matrix that we can have. So here's my proposal. I say we do Office Space, Fight Club, The Sixth Sense, The Matrix.
Works for me.
All right. So next week is Office Space.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's one of my favorite movies too. So I'm glad we're doing it at all.
I think it's a good entry point into the world of Party Like It's 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be reliving the year 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll talk about some nostalgic, fun, being alive in 1999 type deal.
Yep.
First time we saw these movies.
Yep.
What they meant to us.
Yeah.
And that's gonna do it for this week.
That's gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. I'm sure you guys know that you can listen to more Ben and Curt Till It Hurts and Black Gold Podcast by subscribing to Black Gold Podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. You can also stream it from Buzzsprout.com and YouTube.com. You can follow Ben and Curt Till It Hurts on Twitter at Ben_and_Curt. And you can follow me, Curt Cake, at CurtCake5K on Instagram and Twitter. I've been posting a lot on Instagram lately. I hope you people enjoy it. Mostly media, and then food and pugs. So you're kind of a fucking asshole if you don't like any of those things. So I don't see why you shouldn't check out my Instagram posts.
Give it a try.
Just check it out. We'll be back next week to talk about Office Space. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, let's so send me that audio, and I will try to the audio of the episode.
It might be.
Really? Like even via email? Really? Yeah. Dropbox? Or like Mega, whatever the Mega upload is now.
I've never used that one.
There are different file upload
Yeah,
sites.
we'll figure it out. I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
Or worst case scenario, if we don't, maybe I can try to edit in a couple sound bites. But we'll find a way to get it to you.
Yeah.
I'll snip the ends off and.
Mm-hmm. If you want to retain full editorial control over it, I'm fine with that as well.
It doesn't matter to me.
All right. That ghost story was too much, man. Did Laura know that you were going to talk about that?
Nope.
Do you think she'd be cool with you having talked about it? Because I want to know what she thinks about these ghosts.
Oh, we can tell her. Do I have to I have to stop streaming on the.
Oh yeah.